Miranda Wells works as a nurse in the intensive care unit and dreams of transferring to the surgical department. Her colleague Nancy doesn't understand this aspiration, as assisting during surgeries is very demanding. Learning that one of the patients passed away today, Miranda was very upset. She deeply feels the loss of every patient. On the contrary, the patient's son is not grieving for his mother. The nurses found this strange, as the young man had been taking care of her for the past few months. Soon Miranda is going on a date for the first time in a long while. Miranda promised to tell everything later. After work, Miranda stopped by the dry cleaners for her dress. She had to sign the receipt, but her pen stopped writing. The thing is, Miranda psychologically cannot use someone else's pen. But this time she had to overcome herself. Later, Miranda visited her father. His aggressive dog ruined her new dress. Father and daughter went to a cafe for a snack. Miranda is planning to buy a new house, and the father wants to make sure that the realtor won't deceive her. When Miranda went to the restroom, a waitress she knew rushed in and said that someone was feeling unwell. As a nurse, Miranda ran to help and bumped into a guy on the way. Maintaining composure, Miranda saved the life of a man who couldn't breathe. After looking around the new house, Miranda was pleased. In the old house in her free time, she pursues her hobby, baking cakes. At a party with friends, Miranda brought a cake she had made herself. Everyone was delighted. Miranda's friend, Darlene, inquired about when she was going on a date with Kevin, her husband's colleague. Miranda promised it would be soon. The next day at home, hearing footsteps outside, Miranda opened the door and saw a guy she thought was Kevin. There was also a package on the porch. Without hesitation, Miranda let the guy into the house and asked him to wait because she still needed to get dressed. Miranda quickly cleaned herself up and came downstairs. Before leaving with Kevin, she wanted to open the package she had been waiting for so long. It was a set of pens. Kevin picked up one of it. She asked the guy to leave since he was supposed to come later anyway. Kevin didn't want to leave, but Miranda insisted. However, instead of leaving, the guy locked the door. Frightened, Miranda threatened to call the police. But it didn't stop him. Despite Miranda's attempts to break free, he committed unacceptable actions against her. After that, the guy fled. Soon the real Kevin came to Miranda's house with a bouquet of flowers. Seeing injured Miranda, Kevin immediately called the police. Kevin told the officers that he had never been on a blind date before. He just hopes that Miranda will survive. She was indeed in critical condition. An expert documented all the bruises on her, and a doctor examined her. When the police officer asked Miranda if she knew the guy who did this, Miranda remembered seeing him at the cafe the day before. William Finn went to work. Today he had a day off, but the guy was hoping that his boss would pay him in advance earlier. However, William was already awaited by the police. Meanwhile, William was taken to the police station and had his fingerprints taken. The next day, the father came to Miranda's house, where this terrible crime took place. Mitchell was barely holding back his emotions. Then he cleaned the house so that when Miranda returned, nothing would remind her of that horrible day. Soon Miranda was discharged from the hospital. She became depressed and lives with her father for the time being. The worst part is that because of this situation, Miranda can't sell her old house. No one wants to buy a house where a crime occurred. The realtor advised Miranda to plant many roses to mitigate the bad reputation of the house. Mitchell often visits his daughter, who has finally gathered the courage to live separately. Of course, they both understand that the idea with the roses is silly and it won't solve anything. Soon Miranda returned to work. Despite everything, she had to move on. However, due to hand tremors, many things that used to seem simple to Miranda became difficult. Miranda can no longer enjoy life, feeling mentally and physically exhausted. The colleagues support her and gave her a gift in honor of her upcoming transfer to the surgical department. Miranda also returned to her hobby, but now she can't decorate cakes anymore. Miranda feels like she can no longer control her hands. One day, the head of the intensive care unit pointed out Miranda's lack of focus lately. Miranda said she had changed her mind about transferring to surgery. The head didn't hide her disappointment, as Miranda had been working towards this for a long time, persevering diligently. Miranda became nervous, and it became more and more difficult for her to get in contact with people. Moreover, Miranda started being rude to others, although she used to be very tactful. One morning, Miranda decided to write a letter to William in prison. For the first time in a long time, Miranda felt relieved. Nancy noticed that Miranda looked better today. She was indeed in a good mood and constantly smiling. However, Miranda faced disappointment when her letter returned to the sender, which was herself. Miranda resent the letter. From now on, she was full of energy again and decided to give her home a new look to forget the nightmare she had experienced. The father helps her with this. Miranda's letter returned to the sender again. One day while Miranda was at work, she received a call from her father, whose beloved dog Benny was unwell. Evenings after work, Miranda usually spends alone. But tonight was special because William finally replied to her letter. Soon Miranda went to visit him in prison. He wants to know why Miranda wanted to see him. Miranda doesn't know why she came. William asked for her forgiveness. He truly regrets what he did. Out of the blue, Miranda asked William if he was being fed well here. This question made William confused. Miranda fully earned Benny's trust, which surprised her father greatly. Soon after receiving William's letter, Miranda visited him again in prison. They had a pleasant conversation and flirted with each other. When Miranda asked William what he was good at, William replied that since childhood he loved fixing things. He thought it was somewhat similar to what Miranda does in the hospital. Miranda often looks after Benny when her father is at work. Benny is an old dog, and Mitchell worries a lot about his pet. This time Miranda prepared carefully for the date with William, but to her disappointment, the prison guard said that Mr. Finn wouldn't be able to come today. During their next meeting, William told Miranda that he was not allowed to see her last time because of punishment. He was put in solitary confinement for a fight. Christmas came, and Miranda spent it with her father and Benny. Secretly from the guards, William treats his cellmate cruelly. William doesn't like that Randy touches his things without permission, including letters and postcards from Miranda. Miranda's and William's dates continue. Miranda shared that she lost her mother at a young age. The father is her only close person. William in turn shared that he also lost his mother many years ago. William often thinks that if his mother were alive, his life would have turned out differently. Miranda believes that it's never too late to change. One day during another date, Miranda noticed that William was nervous. He confessed that he would soon be released on parole. This came as a surprise to Miranda. William told Miranda that he would miss their meetings, but he would understand if Miranda no longer wanted to see him. At that moment, Miranda had mixed feelings. William said that if he could turn back time, he would never have committed that terrible act. Now all William wants is to make things right. Later, after receiving a call from her father, Miranda learned the awful news. Benny had passed away. Mitchell was devastated as Benny was his best friend. The saddest part was that Miranda had only just become friends with Benny. Miranda helped her father bury the pet in the backyard and ordered food from a Chinese restaurant. They had heart-to-heart conversations. Mitchell confessed that he felt guilty for not spending enough time with his family before. However, Miranda doesn't blame her father, as he worked very hard to provide for her and her mother. Vacation is coming soon, but unlike her colleagues, Miranda doesn't want to go on a trip. Instead, she plans to finish renovations in her home. A courier delivered flowers to Miranda at work. When the intrigued colleagues asked who sent the bouquet, Miranda lied that it was from her father. In reality, the flowers were from William. They continue to communicate over the phone, but since then they haven't met in person. Miranda isn't sure if she's ready for that. Also, she doesn't want anyone to find out about her and William. However, William couldn't wait any longer and one day came to Miranda's house. She was confused but tried not to show it. William said he just wanted to make things right. Since then he started helping Miranda with the renovations of her house. It might have seemed like they both let go of the past, but is it really so? Once William came to Mitchell's store to buy paint. Mitchell immediately felt physically ill and kept his eyes on the guy who didn't even recognize him. When the guy left, Mitchell realized that William bought the same paint as on Miranda's porch. Mitchell immediately went to his daughter and demanded explanations. Miranda stated that she wants to give William a chance for redemption. She doesn't want to waste her life on hatred and intends to move forward. Mitchell refused to understand and accept this. In the evening, receiving a call from William, Miranda asked why he didn't come today. William told Miranda that he saw her father near her house. William thinks that maybe they shouldn't communicate anymore. Whatever he does, he won't be able to redeem his guilt. To provoke him, Miranda said he simply got scared of a 70-year-old man. The next day, William did show up. Before William started on the renovations, Miranda offered him lemonade. After a few minutes, the guy felt sick and asked for permission to use the bathroom. Miranda allowed him into the house. Almost immediately he passed out, only to wake up some time later on some bed. Miranda was by William's side, creating an appearance of caring for him. She was wearing the same dress she had planned to wear on the date with Kevin on that fateful day. William didn't immediately feel he was immobilized. It was at that moment that he realized Miranda had purposely set this whole thing up for revenge. Miranda said she had spiked his lemonade with antifreeze, just like she had recently done with her father's pet Benny. William begged Miranda to spare him, saying she was a nurse and should be saving lives, not the other way around. But Miranda had different plans. Today William was her special patient. After some time, William woke up from anesthesia. Miranda kindly offered him some water. Suddenly the doorbell rang. William, who had been in the basement of Miranda's house all this time, began calling for help, so Miranda had to take action. It was a courier who brought Miranda a package. Inside the box, as usual, was a set of pens. Miranda convinced William that he had lost his arm. As she did so, Miranda laughed ominously while William screamed for help. This was revenge for Miranda's inability to assist in surgery due to psychological trauma and resulting tremors. William refuses to believe that all of this is happening to him. But Miranda proved to be cruel and ruthless. Sometimes appearances can be deceiving. Miranda rummaged through William's backpack and realized that he had expected something more upon arriving at her house. Was he really so naive as to think she had forgiven him? In reality, Miranda deprived William not of his arm, but of what makes him a man. Seeing this, William began screaming in despair. Miranda realized she had won. In the final scene, we see Miranda visiting her father and asking for forgiveness, saying that William will never come again.